are back. And to celebrate Pride Month, we have decided again to look at another TV show from England this time called Vicious.
So who were you squawking at on the phone just now?
Well, my mother, if you must know.
Was she calling to tell you when she'd be dying?
She was very distraught.
Right, did you finally tell her about us?
I'm waiting for the right time.
It's been 48 years.
A TV show that was released in 2013 and broadcasted till 2016 with Gandalf himself and Derek Jacobi.
Oh yes, this was one of the shows that you suggested. I'm like, hey, I've actually seen it.
Mm-hmm. So what's the reason of actually looking at that movie? Well, there's several ones. There's the first one is the LGBTQ media scene is a lot aimed at younger generation, younger people. If we look at a lot of shows, we always have 20-something, maybe 30s, in their 30s. And this show was original because it showed older people, people in their 60s, in their 70s. The show was called Vicious, but originally it was called Vicious Old Queen, and yeah, Vicious.
Yeah, and also we can't forget that the two main characters are both openly gay, in real life, so that was kind of a thing.
It was. So we got Ian McKellen, best known for playing Magneto, I believe, in X-Men, as well as Gandalf, of course. Playing the role of Freddie, washed-up actors who actually still believe he's going to be able to get the big break. And his partner, Stuart. Stuart is more like in the show, we know that they met each other when he was working in the bar. I know he's kind of the housewife of the couple, keeping things going. They're together for 49 years, and they got this kind of love and hate relationship with each other, which is very close to old sitcom about the odd couple and everything else. But deep inside, but deep inside, they love each other, and that's why I really love that show, because you got some vicious queer sentences and dialogue, which is so funny. But at the same time, we also have this looking back at actually what it's like to be gay and old, and what it's like to actually live in a relationship and your mom doesn't know, refuse to accept, for example, or your dog is so old that you have to punch him with a with a broom every couple of times to see if he's still alive. It's overall is actually it's really, for me, it's a feel good show with actually emotional kind of emotional sequences.
Yeah, I think this is also a big part of it, is that it's also kind of big on challenging the stereotypes, because like you said, there wasn't that much portrayal of this type of relationships and gay relationships in the media. But let's be honest here, most of these stories that were told were coming out stories of youth, et cetera, et cetera. So this kind of opened the gateway and kind of thrown an underrepresented, a part of the LGBTQ plus IA community. And yeah, it's in 2013. People think in 2013 everything was also, peachy fucking queens. It was not either. So, props to them. Because I remember I found this show because, for one, I love X-Men, and I didn't know that the actor was actually gay. And then I found out that he was in a show called Vicious. And so I remember that I found it online and I watched it, and I really loved the banter. I'm a banter type of person. So it was pretty good. And like you said, it really gave me those old sitcom types. I love sitcoms too. So.
So we got basically these two characters. We also got Ash, the new neighbors, who is younger, much younger, and straight. And we've got a little bit of secondary cast members with Violet, the classic cougar, I guess. Can we say cougar? She just want to have this young man all the time.
Oh, somebody do something. I'm so frightened I'm going to be raped.
For God's sake, Violet, nobody wants to rape you.
What an awful thing to say.
We've got, of course, their friend, which is Mason, and Penelope, that we see for a couple of time, and they really created this colorful thing about, well, if you're older, you actually seeing people that you know dying, and you end up with actually very few friends around. And even though maybe you actually hate each other in some way, you still keep them around because you don't want to be on your own. So with Mason will keep actually throwing shade at the other one, and they throwing shade at each other, and it's really, really funny.
Egg and cress sandwich, Mason?
Is that what that is? I thought it was a crumb surrounded by a toothpick.
Well, perhaps you'd like some of what you brought. I can always cut you a slice of nothing.
And what I really love about that show was really you laugh, but at the same time they were looking at really like some subject which maybe we don't see enough about growing old, of course, but regrets. The first episode, for example, start with actually one person that you knew that died. They reminisce about that person's life and realize that Stuart, his name was Stuart, basically, was in love with one of the main character. And the thing is, what would have happened if I actually went with him instead of actually with you? And there's this whole thing basically about the choices we made and actually how we have to live with it, which I like. I also like the way that actually they're looking at the banter is always there and it's savage. Sometimes it's savage. And it really it's really refreshing to have actually some really banter, and you can really see that actually the two actors love working with each other. One thing we need to know, they knew each other in real life since university, so they knew each other for a very, very long time, and it showed this relationship as actors together on screen. Yeah, it was so fun. I really loved the show.
What do you think of the impact of this show at the time? Do you think it had a big impact on gay media in the UK? Because I was not in the UK, so I don't know.
No, unfortunately, no. I think something could have sparked some communication, some debate about actually growing older in the LGBT community. Unfortunately, at that time when this one was actually being shown, there was also I do remember this news about twinks, in club who were actually asking club owners to stop old people going to club because they found actually that having older people in the club was actually make them uncomfortable. That was the stuff that was happening, which is sad.
Yeah, and I mean, apparently in the gay community, if you're over 30, you just hang it up. You're done.
Just buy the spot of land somewhere and just, and breed otters. So it was really despite the fact that we're really mentioning a lot of stuff, I think people just see it as a comedy and not as bringing a lot of the issue that we can experience. Personally, as a gay man, I'm actually scared of growing old. And I was scared of growing old actually before the right actually got more equal with straight people, because we all hear stories about people being together 40 years and suddenly one person died and the other one is not even allowed to stay in a house they're living together because the family ended up having more right than actually the partner. And that was a lot of things. I know this is a bit dark and a bit maybe depressing subject, but we need to talk about it because that's what's happening.
But I mean, let's be realistic. The show also touched on a lot of subjective topics, even though it did it with light humor. They still touched on it, so that was nice.
Especially, I do remember the ending when they're actually getting married, because they're together 49 years, and actually the mother doesn't know or refuse to accept the fact that they are a couple, which would make some very funny, funny telephone call scenes. I'm just waiting for the right time. It's been 49 years. You haven't found the right time. I've just been dropping it of just saying that living together 49 years would have been inty enough. There's always more saying, but at the same time, they're actually creating the fact that they're getting married, and they're getting married, and at the same time, the mother died, and you actually see really the sadness of actually one of the character, and this is what that show really does well. You really created some emotional moment. I actually cried in some moment because if you're actually queer, if you're gay, you can in some way relate to what they're going through because, well, you know that's going to be something going to happen to you, and you always want to actually have this relationship and to have this very loving relationship and be able to rely on someone. And it's nice to see that, to see people 49 years together, even though they actually they banter with each other. Actually, we can really see the true love, which is nice.
I'm glad we managed to scrape so much of it off, Penelope. I even managed to save a bit for Mother. Oh, and that reminds me. I must call her. Tell her that I'm coming over tomorrow. Mother. It's all right. I'm here. I love you.
Yeah, it's nice to see that. It's something I feel like wasn't really that, I don't know, let's say it wasn't too portrayed, but seeing it as seeing actual older people, that was nice. I don't think do you think it really had an effect on, because he was playing Magneto and everything, and it just seems like that didn't follow him to the U.S. Like nobody really apparently knew he was gay, because I found out just randomly. I was just like, he's gay.
Like Eddie Izzard, who is trans. It never was a secret. Maybe the people who market them in the US thought that bringing sexuality in the mix might actually be complicated for the American audience. I don't know. It could be that too, because we are talking about the guy who played Gandalf. So he's quite a big, big person. But really, I would advise everyone to actually watch the show because it's funny and got a message beyond it, and a lot of quotable moments.
I should probably go and see that flat now.
Has anybody ever said you remind them of Zac Efron? That's a person, right? Or is it a place?
This is our friend Viola Dash. Yes, she's our friend, and Stuart here is my friend.
Okay.
Haven't I seen you in my yoga class? I go to yoga. I'm great fun.
He speaks.
Yes, I was just watching it as well. It's funny to me as someone that's always kind of iffy on British humor, but I do think that the banter is just so on par. You can tell they know each other, and that's probably their actual real life conversations. Probably.
If you look at the bloopers, it's even funnier because you really see that they were playing with each other all the time, and sometimes it took ages for them to finish a scene because they were just enjoying it so much. And it was on a live audience as well, so a lot of the laugh you hear actually real audiences laugh, which is nice. It's not like canned laugh like a lot of shows that we saw in the 90s. So yeah, so it's worth it. It's a good introduction with actually looking at an older gay couple. It's kind of a nice changes compared to what we see nowadays. And yeah, it's worth it. I'll give it a 5 star.
Well, I guess I give it a 5 star too. I guess we don't even do crystals anymore, right? We gave that up, anyways. I'll give it 5 stars. What do you think we're going to explore next, David?
I would like, if you want to look back at something that was sadly cancelled too early last year or the year before, which is the revival of Queer as Folk in New Orleans.
Yes, let's do that. And I guess if you guys want to see that, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Next time, yeah.